The rain lashed against the windows. A storm raged outside, its fury unmatched, as if nature itself was in turmoil. The wind howled through the trees, bending them to its will, and the thunder roared like an angry beast. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the dark, foreboding landscape for brief moments before plunging it back into darkness. Inside, a different kind of storm brewed. The laboratory was a chaotic symphony of bubbling potions and crackling electricity. Victor Frankenstein, with wild eyes and trembling hands, moved with feverish intensity. His mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, each one more frantic than the last. He had spent countless nights in this very room, driven by an obsession that consumed him entirely. It was a night like any other, but for Victor Frankenstein it was the night that would change everything. The Gothic architecture of his mansion loomed ominously against the stormy sky, a silent witness to the monumental events about to unfold. The air was thick with a sense of impending doom, as if the very fabric of reality was holding its breath.
The air crackled with anticipation. Every flash of lightning seemed to pulse with the energy of the universe, and the thunder's rumble felt like the heartbeat of the world itself. I could feel the electricity in the air, a tangible force that set my nerves on edge and made my skin tingle. My heart pounded in my chest. Each beat was a drum, echoing the storm outside. I was on the brink of a discovery that could alter the course of humanity. The weight of my ambition pressed down on me, a heavy burden that I had willingly shouldered. The fear of failure gnawed at my insides, but the thrill of potential success kept me moving forward. I'd worked tirelessly for months, years even. Every waking moment was dedicated to this singular goal. My laboratory was a testament to my relentless pursuit of knowledge, filled with ancient tomes and strange apparatuses. The walls were lined with shelves of books, each one a stepping stone on my path to discovery. The equipment around me hummed with life, a symphony of science and ambition. Tonight was the culmination of my life's work. Every experiment, every failure, every sleepless night had led to this moment. I stood in the dimly lit laboratory, my creation before me, shrouded in mystery and potential. The air was thick with the scent of chemicals and the promise of something extraordinary. I felt a surge of pride and anticipation, knowing that I was on the verge of something monumental. Tonight, I would cheat death itself. My hands moved with precision, manipulating the instruments with practiced ease. The figure under the sheet was still, a silent testament to my efforts. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was to come. The storm outside seemed to reach a crescendo, as if the universe itself was watching, waiting. This was the moment of truth, the culmination of years of work and sacrifice. Tonight, I would defy the natural order and bring my creation to life.
Strange and wonderful instruments surrounded him. These were not just mere tools. They were relics of a bygone era, each with its own story, its own history. The room was filled with an eclectic mix of devices, some ancient, some modern, all contributing to the grand tapestry of his work. The air was thick with the scent of old books and chemicals, a testament to the countless hours spent in pursuit of knowledge. Tools he had gathered from the furthest corners of the earth. Each piece was a treasure, a fragment of the vast mosaic of human ingenuity. From the deserts of Egypt to the mountains of Tibet, he had scoured the globe, seeking out the rare and the extraordinary. These instruments were more than just objects. They were symbols of his relentless quest for understanding, his desire to unlock the secrets of the universe. Each served its purpose in his grand experiment, an experiment that sought to bridge the gap between the known and the unknown. He handled each instrument with the utmost care, aware of the delicate balance between success and failure. The precision required was immense, and any mistake could spell disaster, yet he was undeterred, driven by a vision that transcended the ordinary, an experiment that challenged the very laws of nature. It was a bold endeavor, one that many would deem impossible, even heretical. But he was not one to be swayed by the opinions of others. His mind was set, his path clear. The glow of the equipment cast eerie shadows on the walls, creating an atmosphere of both wonder and dread. This was a place where science and mysticism intertwined, where the boundaries of reality were pushed to their limits.
I checked each instrument meticulously. Every dial, every switch, every connection had to be perfect. There was no room for error. My hands moved with a practiced precision, the result of years of training and experience. Yet despite my confidence, there was an underlying tension, a sense of anticipation that was impossible to ignore. This was the culmination of my life's work, and the stakes had never been higher. My hands trembled with a mixture of excitement and fear. The weight of what I was about to attempt was almost overwhelming. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, each beat echoing the gravity of the moment. This was not just an experiment, it was a leap into the unknown, a step into uncharted territory. The thrill of discovery was tempered by the fear of the unknown, a delicate balance that kept me on edge. The air grew heavy with the weight of my ambition. Every breath felt laden with the hopes and dreams that had brought me to this point. The room seemed to close in around me, the walls a silent witness to my struggle. This was a place of creation and destruction, where the line between success and failure was razor thin. I could feel the pressure mounting, the expectations weighing down on me like a physical force. Soon I would know if my dreams were madness or genius. The moment of truth was fast approaching, and there was no turning back. I steeled myself, drawing on every ounce of resolve I possessed. This was my destiny, my purpose. The outcome was uncertain, but one thing was clear. I was about to make history, for better or for worse. The future hung in the balance, and all I could do was take the final step and see where it led.
The lifeless form lay on the table before him, a grotesque parody of a man. It was a culmination of months of tireless work, sleepless nights, and an obsession that had consumed him entirely. Each part meticulously chosen, each stitch a testament to his determination. He had assembled it with his own two hands, piece by piece. The process had been grueling, a test of both his physical endurance and mental fortitude. Every sinew, every bone, every patch of skin had been carefully selected and painstakingly attached. The room was filled with the scent of chemicals and the faint, lingering odor of decay. Now, it was time to breathe life into it. He had studied the ancient texts, consulted with the greatest minds, and delved into the forbidden realms of science and alchemy. The moment of truth had arrived. His heart pounded in his chest, a mix of fear and exhilaration coursing through his veins.
With a final deep breath, I threw the switch. The room was instantly filled with the hum of electricity, the air crackling with energy. My hand trembled as I held the switch, my eyes fixed on the lifeless form on the table. This was the moment I had been waiting for, the culmination of all my efforts. Electricity surged through the wires. The lifeless form twitched. At first it was just a small movement, barely noticeable, but then the twitches grew more pronounced, more deliberate. The body convulsed as the electrical currents coursed through it, bringing it closer and closer to the brink of life. My creation, my monster, was alive. Its eyes opened slowly, revealing a glimmer of awareness. It took its first tentative breath, the sound raspy and uneven. As it began to sit up, I felt a surge of triumph and terror. What had I done? What had I brought into this world? The creature's gaze met mine, and in that moment I knew that nothing would ever be the same again.
The creature's eyes opened. Dull and yellow, they stared into his soul. Its limbs jerked and twitched in a grotesque dance of life. A low groan escaped its lips.
Horror washed over me. My creation was hideous. The beauty I'd imagined, the perfection I'd striven for was nowhere to be found. I had created a monster. Panic seized me. I fled the laboratory, my mind reeling. I had dared to tamper with the very essence of life, and this was the result. A grotesque abomination.
Sleep offered no escape. Nightmares plagued him. Visions of the creature, its eyes burning into his soul. He was trapped in a waking nightmare of his own creation.
He awoke with a start. His heart pounded in his chest. He was not alone.
Standing over his bed, its eyes fixed on him, was the creature. It reached out a hand towards him.
Its touch sent shivers down his spine. He scrambled back, his blood turning to ice. He had unleashed something terrible upon the world.
Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. He was consumed by guilt and fear. The creature haunted his every waking moment. He was a prisoner in his own mind.
His friend Henry Clerval nursed him back to health, but the damage was done. He was a changed man, haunted by the consequences of his actions.
He had sought to create life, to conquer death itself. But in doing so, he had unleashed something far worse. He had created a monster, and he alone was responsible. The birth of the monster was a pivotal moment. It marked the beginning of Victor's downfall, and it would have far-reaching consequences for everyone he held dear.
The creature was out in the world now, a terrifying symbol of the dangers of unchecked ambition, a stark reminder that some lines are not meant to be crossed.